Talk about screen time.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I don't agree with screen time at schools below the age of 14.
I think before we even talk about screen time, we need to define what that actually means. Because if you're thinking that it's just a room full of kids zoned out scrolling through YouTube, that doesn't happen in schools. But for my own son, who's dyslexic, technology has completely transformed his education. Tools like text-to-speech, dictation, scanning app, they've removed barriers that pen and paper created. It's allowed him to access the same learning as everyone else, to actually show what he knows instead of being limited by how fast he can write. So if we're talking about banning screen time, are we talking about banning inclusion as well?
When they go into reception and I hear that they have like 1 hour of IT a week, why? Like, we don't need kids to learn IT and technology at the ages of 4 and 5. Those years are so fundamental for like learning about communication, emotional regulation, play, and like they learn massively through play. So
I completely agree that play and communication are vital, but guess what? That happens in every single early years classroom. But let's be fair, let's be honest here. Schools aren't the ones introducing screens. By the age 5 to 7, a quarter of children already have a smartphone. 3/4 use a tablet at home. That's before we've even taught them how to log on safely. So what we spend our ICT lessons is trying to undo the damage, teaching online safety, privacy, and critical thinking, because that isn't always happening at home.
in the last 3 years, the likelihood of young people having a mental health problem has increased by 50%. Not 10, not 20. 50%. Now, 5 children in a classroom of 30 are likely to have a mental health problem, and that's a stat from 2022. I don't even know the implications of screen time using that from nursery, reception, year 1, year 2. We don't even know.
You can't genuinely think those stats are coming from an hour of coding and a computing lesson at school. It's coming from unfiltered, unlimited, unsupervised screen use outside school. That's where kids are doom scrolling, comparing themselves to influencers, being manipulated by algorithms built to keep them hooked. School tech use is supervised, structured, educational. Home screen use is commercial, addictive, constant. There is a huge difference.
I think the earlier we introduce it, the more normal it is. They're at school from the age of 5 all the way up to 16. Those are years where that cements who you are. That cements what your norm is. That cements confidence you have. That cements what your self-esteem's like. That cements if you're resilient or not. Screen time takes away from all of those things that I would want for my kids as they grow up.
When it's used badly, that can happen. But in schools, that is not how technology is being used. Schools use it properly through computational thinking, coding, creating, which actually builds resilience and problem solving. Coding teaches logic, debugging, perseverance, all skills that strengthen confidence and independence. We're not teaching kids to stare at screens. We're teaching them to think with technology, not be controlled by it. And she keeps saying, technology is so easy to use. Why do we need to teach kids? Yeah, because someone's made it that way. Someone's built these tools, the code, the interfaces that make technology simple for everyone to use. So where do you think the next generation of those people are going to learn how to do that? How to improve things through technology? That's exactly what we're teaching.
And I hear the argument of, yeah, but they have to be primed for this digital world and digital literacy. I call bullshit.
You call it BS, but ultimately it's reality. This is the world children are living in already. Most children are online before they're even on this planet. Their 12-week scan picture gets uploaded to Instagram. So look around. This is the world they're already living in. And one of the biggest dangers at the minute isn't kids doing a bit of coding in year 3. No, it's a lack of critical thinking. When people consume what they see online, that's how misinformation spreads. That's how we end up with people watching misinformed TikToks, taking sly digs at schools and teachers, blaming them, thinking they're the problem when it comes to screen time, when it comes to mental health issues, when in fact schools are the ones teaching children how to question, verify, and think critically about the information they see. So if you're really worried about the digital world, look, I am as a teacher, but I'm not. I realise we can't just switch it off. What I'm trying to do is actually teach children how to navigate it safely and wisely. And the point about protecting children, I agree. That's what teachers are doing literally every day. But you blaming schools for why there's issues with screen time, it doesn't protect anyone. Screens aren't necessarily the enemy. The misuse of them and lack of education around it, that's the problem. And that's something teachers are desperately trying to help and sort.